There's no question football players take hard hits. It's been called America's most dangerous game, but the danger hits home for more than just NFL players.
He came from behind me and slammed me on the ground, and my head hit the ground.
Lawrence Anderson was in 7th grade when he was hit hard enough to cause a concussion.
Everything was a blur. I didn't know what I was doing or where I was.
For Anderson, it's only happened once. But as more and more NFL players talk about the devastating effects of hit after hit, it's tough for parents to hear.
It's a little scary because you don't want your son to grow up and have mental issues.
So what can be done to make kids safer?
Can we change practice? Can we change the games? Can we make better equipment?
That's what researchers like Dr. Stefan Duma are trying to figure out. The Virginia Tech professor just started a 5-year, $3 million study to track kids starting at age 9. One thing they're looking at, their helmets.
Right now, youth football helmets are basically adult football helmets with a little different material.
The problem is kids' heads are disproportionately large compared to their necks and bodies.
There's very little musculature. They can't resist that impact. So the same force to the head ends up with a larger acceleration than the adult counterpart.
Helmets are just part of the equation, though.
It's not all about the equipment. It's about how you coach and how you play.
There have been some changes in recent years, like the way kids tackle for one, but those jarring hits can still happen, and it's making some parents question whether they should even be letting their kids play football at all.
Crystal Chandler's 14-year-old son has played for years, but now she's wondering if she should let her 6-year-old follow in his footsteps.
I'm afraid for him to play football because of all of the concussion stories that's going on right now. So maybe one day he'll be able to play, but right now I'm not so sure.
So what should parents do?
Well, that's a great question and a tough question.
Dr. Joel Brenner, director of CHKD's Sports Concussion Program, says it's not a black and white answer.
There's a lot of benefits from sports. We want kids to be physically active. We don't want them to be just sitting at home. And it's really a personal decision.
And it's not as easy as just having them play another sport.
A lot of parents will say, well, I'm going to not let my kid play football. That's not the solution because there's concussions in hockey, there's concussions in wrestling, there's concussions in soccer, in basketball, on all the sports.
We actually see more cheerleaders during the fall than we do football players.
People who love the game say football can be dangerous, but they're working to make it safer because it's worth it to keep playing.
Greatest sport in the world. These kids are learning so much about so much in life, from the discipline and the structure, and we teach life lessons, and we use the game of football to teach them those.